and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where men or sheep were scared. How you doing today, buddy?
You bailed on that one anyway, didn't you? Halfway through, you were like, oh, fuck. I am very good. I'm very excited. It's race week. It's been a long time since I've been able to say that, but it is race week. So, yeah, we're shooting this on the Saturday the 2nd. So, Saturday the whatever, we are going to find out who's going to be the first sprint race winner. So, yeah, all is good. Back with the gruesome twosome.
No, not at all is new. Is good. Christ. I said when I tell you the 850cc monsters coming around the corner, goddamn Dorna should be shot. You know, there's just no good, folks. If you haven't been in a long time, that was just nothing good came from the 800cc. Dorna promised it was such a screw up they'd never do it again. But Dorna's like politicians; they lie. You know, they are. Just, you know, that's how you never wonder how I can always predict what Dorna's going to do because I was in politics. I can see the lie coming.
Yeah, but look, listen, you're pointing the finger at Dorna.
I know. You're saying, yeah. You're saying that Ducati wants it. Blah blah blah. If they get a gun to their head, of course they're going to say it. There's no.
They're not saying it, Jake. No way. Get out of town. And this has been Gigi's agenda for a long time, not Dorna's.
What, they go to 825 or 850?
850, yeah. This is the Gigi agenda. This is not a Dorna agenda.
Oh, balls. Queen. If I had him, I'd be king. No freaking way.
Yep.
That's a big expense. That's Honda pushing. Okay. That's Honda pushing out the small ones because it costs a fortune.
Will you change the record? It's not. Why would Gigi trying to convince KTM and Aprilia?
I don't buy it. I don't think he is. I think,
but he is.
Just like when he said, "Oh,
look at my lips."
I hear your lips.
Gigi is. He is doing it. He is doing it. He is the big pusher behind it. He either knows something or has something or has begun work on something. I don't know. But Gigi is trying to influence the other teams into.
Why would he want to make everything back?
Because he's an engineer.
Even playing when you're ahead.
But one sec now, right? If something is going to happen, and you think you have a really good idea for something, would you not lobby as hard as you can to get it to what you want it to be?
No, not when I'm 4 years ahead. Was everybody saying that Ducati's
no, Jake, get this into your head. There is going to be a regulation change in engine size in 2027.
Yeah,
right?
But why?
No. Just listen before you go down the road, right? It is going to happen one way or the other. So if you're looking at, okay, what is the one that was going to suit us the best, right? Now Dorna are knocking on your door saying, oh, by the way, we need to let other teams catch up. I'm going to look at it and go, okay, how can I use this to my advantage? Okay, that's fine, but if we do change engines, I want it to be this.
Or
they get what they want. They get their concessions. Yamaha get their concessions. Ducati get what they want. They get an 850cc that he's obviously spiraled something, but it is a Gigi agenda to talk other teams into an 850cc.
How's it a Gigi agenda? You can bet your bottom dollar that Dorna is coming up and saying, we want the Japanese to win. They always have. Do it, or we're going to keep giving you more and more problems. This is like a thug telling you that you have to give over your.
No, I would 100% disagree in that. 100%.
We're going to say we're going to keep. Next thing's going to be, listen, you don't play ball. The next thing's going to be rev limiters, and we're going to give it to you, but not them. And we can make that so they're a fiddler's chance in hell you win.
No.
Just like
so you're saying so that it's.
Come on.
You're thinking that it's Dorna going to turn around to Ducati and say, right, well, we want the Honda and Yamaha to win. We don't want G to win.
No,
so therefore they're not.
They haven't for years.
They're not.
I lived. They've been saying it for years because I lived 10 miles away from them. Don't forget.
Who?
I lived 10 miles away from when they first started racing. They did it fast by Faraci. No, that was like a headquarters for Ducati. Remember?
Yeah.
When they first started racing, they first started in World Superbike. It's 10 miles away.
The landscape, the racing landscape has changed
Of
massively.
course it is, but the premise, the base premise doesn't. They want that.
No,
still going on that. Well, we'll have X amount of fans. We're going to go whatever the fans want. We're going to like a popularity contest.
No, I 100% disagree with that. And like if it's written into the regulations that like realistically
go a level, like I just like racing as everybody starts on a an even plane, and the best man wins. That's what racing is. It's not fair.
But that's a regulation change. Like every team or every sport has a regulation change at something, right? MotoGP has it. Formula One did it there. What 2022?
They always have regulations change, but they shouldn't have welfare when you say one team gets more than the other.
But Jake, you're talking about two different things, right? Right. The concessions.
So we're going to give them everything they want.
Everyone turns around and agrees.
And they said you're weak. Because if they're going to agree, if they have a gun to their head, they'll do whatever Dorna says. And Dorna, the MSN, the riders with the manufacturers agreement, that was bullshit. Where they had to have it as unilateral. It had to be unanimous. Yeah, that was bullshit. How bad was it when you say yes, it's supposed to be unanimous, but if they don't go along with it, well, piss on them. We're going to do it anyway.
No, and listen, look, this is I get what you're saying, but you're on the furthest edge of radicalism of what I've seen, Jake. Like there is no way in this god green earth that Dorna are going to turn around and say, right, the other three manufacturers, we're going to screw ye because we want Honda to win. That's not going to happen.
They said it yes, he did. Espolita said, in the act of fairness, I know you want to have this should be unanimous, but in the act of fairness,
no, he said we're going to make them agree.
Yeah, right? What the hell you call that? Oh, we're going to make them agree. Oh yeah, that's fair. That's even.
Yeah, so he's going to offer them. No, wait a second, Jake. And you're the one going on about politics, right?
Right.
So we're going to make them agree. So they're going to offer them something to make them agree.
Yeah, an offer. I'm going to give you an offer you cannot refuse.
No, exactly, and that's what I thought. This whole engine thing started in around the time of the concessions were talked about, Jake. And if you put two and two together, then Gigi coming out and saying, "Yeah, I'm really interested in the 850cc."
I look forward to.
I will 100% send it to you after this, right? And it's rare that I'm wrong.
I know.
I never talk bullshit.
Every soap, you know what I mean?
So
he's throwing me.
The actual start of this conversation was probably around this time last year, maybe a few months into last year, where KTM were actually talking, and it was a question brought up to Gigi about the new regulations. Actually, was he interested in hybrid motorbikes? And Gigi said absolutely no.
Nope.
And KTM said absolutely yes. So that's where the whole engine thing for the 2027 regulations started.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Saying that this is the lesser of the two evils. I didn't hear about the hybrid bit. The same thing.
I did a video on it actually.
Must have missed that. When did you do that on a hybrid thing?
Last year. Definitely did it last year.
Wow.
So that's where the whole engine regulations thing started. All of a sudden, then it came out about the 850. At the start, KTM were like, "Hell no."
Well, nobody were like, "That's a fucking." Right.
Aprilia were talking about just increasing the bore or whatever, right? Keeping the 1000cc and just increasing the bore. And Gigi then convinced KTM that it was a good idea. So KTM were on board with it. Aprilia are still not fully on board with it. The Japanese, there has actually been nothing about the Japanese, whether they're on board or whether they're not on board with it. And for rightly good reason too, is because they're nowhere near the ballpark, right? And every few years and every motorsport series that I've seen, there's always a reset of the clock. So Honda would win for this. Like if you Formula One is a really good example of this. So for 2014 to 2021, it was all about Mercedes. 22 on has been all about Red Bull. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That will go on till the next regulation changes 2026, and there could be another cycle, man. You see these cycles going through, and
if Mark Marquez was on Honda and they were still winning, we wouldn't hear a peep of this crap.
No, you're wrong there, because they did start changing the regulations when he was on the Honda.
Well, it sucked, as I said, and winning.
But no, but that's my point, Jake. They do make regulation changes, and I would think it's actually really misleading to say Dorna are only going to go out and say
the 800cc was horrible.
But it's not even about the 800. It's the whole mechanism, right? There's Ducati must be putting in the guts of 100 million to do those 8 bikes, more even, I would say. KTM is probably another 100 million ish, and Aprilia say 60 or 70 million. They're not going to throw that budget and say, okay, Dorna, we're going to fold and say, yeah, whatever, just so let Honda. That's
what they're doing. They're saying, listen, we're going to take that whatever we had. We're 1,000 cc's, everything's rocking and rolling. We're going to piss on it, light it on fire, and we're going to go with the.
But it's not Dorna. That's my point, Jake. Why would Gigi be pushing 850cc over onto KTM and all of them? Why would he try to be convincing them to go that route?
Maybe something worse. I have to. That's the only thing that's throwing me. It is, unless there's something worse out there. He's telling like maybe the hybrid's so bad. They said, listen, do this and we'll throw hybrids on you.
But why would they? Again, if I'm going to go this way, if they were going to go throw hybrids, surely Ducati have the advantage over everyone.
Well, probably not. I mean, everybody's starting to scratch.
Ducati make the bikes for Formula E, so they already have an understanding of how to make an electric bike. So they understand the performance, the discharge, all of this. So,
so does Yamaha from their cars.
But they don't have performance race bikes.
No,
Ducati do. Ducati produce the bikes for Moto.
Yeah.
So that would be playing even into more into Ducati's hands than Honda or any other teams out there. And GG is pushing for a internal combustion engine 850cc engine.
Now their 800 was superior than everybody else's. That's the only upside I could see way back when they won the title.
Way back, yeah, maybe. But it is an interesting thing. By the
way, the bore was bigger. When they said the 1,000cc and bore was bigger, I don't know if you just made a for it. It was the 850 had a larger bore that had the 86 millimeter bore.
They're doing. They want to. Aprilia don't want to change out from the 1,000. Because that's obviously just going to cost them a lot. So
bring it out to 86?
No, to go to the 850 engine.
Oh yeah, of course.
So they just want to use the 1,000 and stroke it down or whatever it is. So to reduce the power. That's realistically what they're going to try and do. Now, and Jake, I don't agree with the 850 engine either, right? Because fundamentally, if they go 850cc, the bikes are going to corner faster.
Yeah.
Which means we're going to lose an awful lot of the iconic tracks that are out there.
Yeah. So I remember at 850s, the crash rate went up, not down.
It's not the crash rate. It's the fucking fact that the riders will hit the fence.
Yeah. Oh, well, that too. Yeah.
That's my major problem with it. If they're cornering fast at the rate, so we go to Kota this year, you will see through the flip-flops. If a rider crashes, he'll reach the fence. And that's not on in my case, in my book. Riders should never, ever, ever, ever reach the fence. So that's the kind of thing for me that has a look. I'm all for regulation changes because I think that's what keeps the engineers interested. And I get what people are saying about its prototype class, and I've seen it for years in Formula One. Right? They try to restrict the engineers as much as possible. Right? And they try it. And a really good engineering team will sit down and they will look at the regulations and they will find the loopholes. And those loopholes tend to drive innovation into cars and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of stuff that came from F1 that was fucked out straight away once F1 figured out what its actual potential was. Do you know what I mean? So it is for me, that's the really interesting part. The regulation change comes, it might push them back a second, half a second, whatever a lap, and then you look at it a year later, and they're actually 2 seconds faster than they were on the older regulations.
Right. If you look at the dimensions of an 81 millimeter bore, and then as soon as they go to 80, if they go to 86, right, the bike's going to be just as fast instantly. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
but I would think. I think it would be packaged smaller and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so I think it does have aerodynamic benefits for sure, center of gravity benefits, probably. There's a lot of stuff. I think
difference inside. I mean, you're looking at millimeters, so you're only looking.
Yeah, but when you look at the rate of change within a MotoGP suspension, the millimeter is all the difference. So if they can package that bike a little bit tighter, any way, shape, or form, they'll do it. Do you know what I mean?
They'll do it. I just can't see it making all that much difference because
No, I think it will. Look, they'll corner faster. There's less inertia. For me, I do understand it. I get that it's good to change things. Like the engines are only some of it. The ride heights, the aero. There's loads of things on the fucking table that we're like on. Okay, what are you going to do? And that's. I think the conversation in Doha, I would love to be a fly on the wall to get an understanding of what is actually going on, because I would think many teams want many different things, and I think that way, I think it's pretty good that Dorna would probably step in and be like, "You're going to fucking do this," and that's the end of it. Do you know what I mean? Because if I've learned anything from team principals and team technical managers and whatever, they're all in it for their own benefit. Like Gigi is pushing 850 for a reason. There's a reason he's doing it. He's not like, let's just spend 100 million euros to develop a new engine.
Right.
Let's put the race winning engine that we've developed for the last 10 years to the side, and let's start all over again. He's seen something, he knows something, and he wants to push it. The Japanese are very quiet on it. As usual, they're not going to speak up against Dorna in any way, shape, or form, and they don't. And
they don't have to.
Huh?
They don't have to.
But you never hear the Japanese ever complain. Like, even if
they whine, if they were whining to get concessions, who are you kidding?
Nah, they're not
good. They're too good. Blah 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 blah.
But they're not whining. In my view, they're not whining any more than Massimo Rivola.
No, sure they are. They're
no, go away, will you? With Massimo Rivola,
they've been whining and crying for years.
But that's what a team principal does.
But probably Dorna just falls in right in with them. They've been in there.
They don't.
Dorna's been in Honda's pocket forever. Come on.
Nah, it's not to the extent.
Go to crazy in AMA. They were bitching about it. I remember I owned a race team. Every team was like Dorna's, and if you went down, every team was Dorna's in Honda's pocket. Every single one of them would tell you the same thing.
I don't think as much as you say. I think they have a lot of influence, and I think they're like a Ferrari of Formula One, where they do have an awful lot of influence on what the FIA decisions are. But I think there's so much money involved now that the envelope or the brown envelope passing has stopped.
I Christ, that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at this thing going, okay, it's going to go to 850. That might be a damn big envelope, though. But that has to be a.
But it's not. But it's that's.
It would have to be a golden umbrella, for God's sake.
But again, Jake, that's why I'm saying you're wrong on this, because it's GG is pushing it. It's not Honda. It's not Honda. Like, there has been no, and let's be fair, when the concessions were on and talked about, Honda and Yamaha were making noises to say that they would agree with sessions or concessions. So they were not admitting it.
Concessions, no Honda and Yamaha, no shit.
Exactly. Well, look, but even any team, no matter who, would be accepting of those.
Of course, but they bitch
as long as
they threaten to get it. If we don't win, if we don't get something, we're gonna leave. They pout and stamp their feet.
Yeah, but look, Jake, let's be very, very honest, right? Yamaha, Honda, probably being nice to them, they're about 2 years behind, right?
Then build better bikes, get better engineers,
or leave.
One of the fucking two.
I think I don't think they were crying saying, "Oh, I'm going to split the dummy and tape." I think they were kind of either the options that they realistically at a board level or whatever level, we're either going to have to build a better bike or whatever. To build a better bike, we need more time on track, and I think that's the tact that they took with Dorna and the FIM, right? And that's both teams. If it was just Honda, Jake, that was getting the concessions and no one else, I would say yes, 110%. You were right that Dorna is in.
Because you don't hear Yamaha. You never hear me get on Yamaha because you never, even years ago, there was always Honda was the one. You didn't hear about Yamaha getting on their.
But they wouldn't. But that's my point. Honda would have had more concessions than Yamaha, and they don't.
Well, you can't. No, you can't do that. Come on.
You can. You're the one to say. You're the one saying that they're so blatantly obvious.
There's politics in hand. You can't give one and not give somebody else something without making it look fishy. It's like when they gave Honda and World Superbike the concession on the frame, and they gave it to BMW. BMW didn't even know it was coming.
They did. You're wrong there. They did. And I told you about BMW, so I know that story inside out and back to front. And that's wrong.
They didn't. They
wrong. They knew. They applied for the frame. You have to apply. Yeah, and the excuse that Honda made for the headstock change was the fact that the bikes that they were running were developed on Dunlop tires.
Right.
Not Pirelli. That's what the Fireblade was developed.
Then everybody should have.
Yeah, but that was
to develop their bike on.
But that was my point. Honda and BMW were the only ones that got those concessions. When you look at MotoGP, Honda got concessions, Yamaha got concessions, Pirelli got concessions, and KTM got concessions. Like, I don't see you bitching that KTM got concessions.
They shouldn't get it. You're right. They should not get it at all.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't. Pirelli shouldn't either. They got more concessions than. So, like, that's my point. Like, if it was just Honda, okay, we could throw Yamaha. We could throw Yamaha in there. Okay.
Make you look good. That would make it look on the up and up.
Let's throw Yamaha in with Honda and say, yeah, okay, we're going to, because they are last and second last in the field, we're going to give them concessions. So why give the other three?
Did KTM and the Pirelli
No, they got more. They started bitching and this is where my theory comes from, is that Gigi got what he wanted. He didn't want KTM or Aprilia to get more concessions, which is tires, right, for testing.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. No
Right.
fucking way. BMW shouldn't have got the concession on the frame either.
Oh, one sec. So no, yeah, but let's not talk about World Superbikes. MotoGP, Ducati, nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Aprilia and KTM, extra tires for testing and stuff. Okay. Honda and Yamaha, the works, right? So Gigi openly came out and said, I did not want to let for Aprilia or thing to get concessions. So this is where I'm going with, along the lines with, Gigi has his agenda of the 850cc. This was all happened in around the same time. Then he's like, I didn't get everything that we wanted. So therefore, my view of this is Gigi's 850cc thing was a trade-off. Like a politician, as you said, okay, if you give concessions, they're not going to catch you in 2 years anyway, and we're going to have a regulation change for 2027.
No, it doesn't make sense. I don't buy it.
Does. Are Yamaha and Honda going to catch Ducati in 2 years?
No, not when you're that far ahead. You, like I said, when they're that much better, and they're stronger engineering department. Period. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
the only thing is they can start from scratch with Ducati. They can start from scratch next to Honda and Yamaha, and their engineering department is so much stronger. They're going to win anyway. Mm-hmm. They're going to pull away from them regardless.
Who are going to pull away from them in 2027?
Yeah, if they when they start, right, Ducati's engineering is so much stronger than Honda and Yamaha, especially Honda. They're going to pull away from them anyway.
Yeah, but if Honda and Yamaha can start already testing their 2027 spec engine in open testing, or what kind of open testing?
Yeah. Whoa! I didn't think they're not allowed to start their testing on the 850 yet. They have to start in 2027. They don't get concessions for the 850.
My understanding of the rule book is that they have open engines. Open engine development throughout the season. So when they test, they can change engine specification if they want.
So you're saying they can test their 850s? They can start now.
They could technically, if it was tied in this week, just say for example, and they did their development, they could run an 850.
I haven't heard one way or the other.
Because it's private testing, Jake. It's not a.
Oh, if you're private testing, we're just going to say they're going to do it on the sly. You can make it whatever you fucking want, you know. But
yeah, but no. You see, their engine that they'd be okay. So let's go very basic on it. If they're running a bike for the in season and trying to develop it and whatever, and they're using it for whatever, they would have had to sign off that engine that year. So they would technically need to run that specification for that test to be any good. Yeah. But if their test days now are I won't say unlimited because they are bound by a number of tires, right? But they're not bound by engine specification because they have an unfrozen engine.
Right.
So technically they could actually throw an 850 in there just for reference.
Reference for what?
For 2027.
Yeah, but then
like realistically, no one is going to have an engine ready until midpoint 2026. Even if they agree it now.
Didn't they just come out and say nothing's going to change until the 2027? And they said Espeleta said everything's but the new engines start in don't they say they were going to start?
And when does engine
start developing them now? That's right. Everybody can start developing them now. That's right. Everyone can start developing them now.
So they're not going to start developing an engine in 2027 that they need to run in 2027. They're going to start developing an engine in 2025.
Everyone's starting now. Blah, blah, blah.
So technically, if Honda towards the end of this year had an 850 or the first iteration of an 850, they could, in one of their test days, fuck that engine into the bike. No way to go. As long as the mountain points match up.
So but I didn't hear about that. All I heard him say was they're allowed to start the engine. They would be able to start developing the engine now. But it said everyone would start be able to.
Once the technical regulations are confirmed, but I don't think the technical regulations will be fully confirmed for another couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it might take. Speaking of that, every couple of weeks, I looked in Wall Street Journal, couldn't find anything with this buying of Dorna, Liberty Group. But usually when you have smoke, you have fire. I don't know if they haven't picked up on the story yet, or because if you're a company, no one's going to want to start with if somebody's buying the company out, do you want to? You're a manufacturer, any manufacturer. Do you want to start, laying down rules when a new boy's coming in?
Yeah, because and again, the FIM make the rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No. The FIM, if you were to go to a court of law,
right? As I said, technically,
it is the FIM.
The tail wags the dog. Dorna runs.
Yeah, but unfortunately, right, and you will see if you're into Formula One, you'll see that the atmosphere between the FIA, which is the FIM version in Formula One, and Liberty Media, who own Formula One, it's toxic. There is no relationship there, right? So the FIM, so you're American, Andretti Racing tried to get into Formula One. Yep. FIA approved them, no problem, in you come. FIM said no. Or sorry, Dorna said no. Or not Dorna, fucking hell, I'm really bad today. So Formula One said no. Liberty Media said no. You wouldn't bring value to the teams. So realistically, there's 4 or 5 companies interested in buying.
So that's it. I haven't followed it. The Andretti's out.
Totally. And Andretti is out and can reapply at a different stage. But the problem with
Andretti, that kicked Ford out too.
No, Ford are only coming in as an engine supplier. So the major problem here for
Red Bull is going forward, right?
Yeah, the major problem for Andretti Racing in Formula One was that Andretti are teamed up with Cadillac to run in thing, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is brilliant! They have a major manufacturer on board, whatever." And it turned out the Cadillac were not going to make the engines.
What?
The Cadillac were not going to make or supply engines. It was actually going to be Renault. So they were just like, okay, this is just a brand sponsorship deal. This is not really going to add a manufacturer to the grid. So I think that's kind of part of it. But anyway, it would be the same. Like there's 4 or 5 businesses or companies that are interested in taking over Dorna. Now Dorna's role as promoter of things, and I don't know, does this just entail MotoGP only, or is this the whole spectrum of what Dorna owns, superbikes, blah 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 blah. But it's been valued at 4 billion.
Yeah,
which is cheap in the motorsport world.
And Liberty already bought a portion of MotoGP in a company called a subsidiary called Quint. It does advertising and organizes billboards and stuff like that. I don't know what. Don't hold me on what it actually does, but they already bought into it to a portion.
Yeah, look, and I think it's a good thing. Like old man Dorna he's getting to the end of it, right? And he's realizing, and he saw what happened with the Bernie Ecclestone takeover. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm out, I need to get out. There's no one really there that would have the influence that he has, right? And like you have to remember, when you look at how Formula One was run under Bernie, right? Bernie had so much tied up into things. And I always remember what happened with Ross Brawn as one of those things where the team was struggling for money, but Bernie needed a team to break the other team's kind of grouping together to get more money out of him. So he needed one person to walk away. As soon as one team walked away, that would fracture the whole team ganging up on him, right? And he signed something with Ross Brawn to give them the whatever millions that they were due from the previous year. So for his vote for the new Concord agreement or whatever it was. And Ross Brawn's solicitor snuck in a confidentiality agreement within it, right? And Ross Brawn was going to some meeting with the other team principals, and didn't Bernie text the other team principals to say, I have Ross Brawn on board now, or whatever it was, or Brawn GP on board and whatever. And he broke the confidentiality agreement, which meant that he wasn't no longer tied to it. But I suppose where I'm going with it is, like, realistically, old man Dorna Espeleta realistically has people in his pocket, right? Has dirt on them and this, that, and the other. Very, very politician. And he is very much so the way, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You want something, I want something, we'll come together and we'll find a way around it. And I genuinely think with the engine regulations...
Yeah, but when he wants something, he battling to go, it's my way or the highway, too.
But he doesn't have that power anymore. He doesn't. He cannot. He can get, and this is where I am.
For sure.
Huh?
It went through with the concessions. He said it should look like it.
But Jake, that's what I'm saying. The exact time that the concessions went through, Gigi started talking about his 850cc. Exactly the same time. Now, Ducati are the only ones not to get anything out of the concessions. So I can guarantee you they're going to get what they want out of this regulation.
Oh, the reason they did that is everybody said, "Oh, they're the evil, they're the evil empire because they're better than everybody else," which is bullshit.
No, they all went along the Rivola thing of they have 8 bikes.
And, yeah, but you people out there, the Joe Blow thinks 8 bikes are the greatest thing since sliced bread. But any insider, you and I, we know it's not that. It isn't winning titles. Let's put it that way.
It's not winning titles. It's
a helper.
Yeah, look, I think if they had bikes that were very close to each other year on year, it would be a massive help.
It ain't gonna make a difference. You know what I mean? Huh? Put it that way. If you gave Honda 8 bikes, they're not going to start winning. Christ, so it actually, from that case, it would be a detriment.
Well, yeah. Well, look, we all know, like, if we look at Honda's old work ethic or work method, let's just say, it was more so that, Joel, they would have 8 different bike setups, or complete bike setups on the grid. That's one of the comments that I made this year was, like, it was great to see in testing Honda would have, or Honda had all the same bikes on for each rider. So, look, I think the concessions thing, yeah, I disagreed with it, and I still do. Whatever I feel about Yamaha and Honda, because they're so far behind, while I don't like it, I understand it. I do not understand KTM and Aprilia. And I think that is very wrong. And that leads me to believe in this whole thing of the regulations. I think Gigi is going to get what he wants. And I think that's the only play that Espeleta has to get that signed off in the concessions.
And I still think the Yamaha is going to pull it off and beat Honda this year.
Well, if it does happen, it just for Honda, I think it's it'd be a pretty damning thing,
They're going to lessen when they said they're going to contain. You got, by the way, for the aero, they said they're going to put some type of lasso around the aero in 2020
regulation. Yep.
Yeah. Which is, your view is rare because most people they either go me where I say I'll let it go and find out where it ends up. It was like me, let it go because I'm a tech guy. But the other side of it is people going, I want nothing. And you go, you can't, folks, you can't just go nothing, you know?
Well, you can. You can.
Yeah, a lot of people have broken up, you know what I mean? A lot of plaster
nope.
and yes,
no,
yes.
No,
they're going to high side just like they did in the 90s, all that shit. I know, Superman, blah, 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 blah. That's bullshit.
Nope. Nope. No, they can 100% remove it, right? Aero is not. I think you're right. I think that in the way of for Ducati and KTM and Aprilia, their bikes are designed with aero in mind. For Yamaha, Honda, the aero is bolted on after.
Right.
And I've mentioned this a lot, but they can still it would take a lot of re-engineering for Ducati and them to make a bike without aero, but it can be done. And ride height won't get rid of high sides. Doesn't.
No,
we've seen it. You know,
they should get active suspension to replace it, though. They really should.
But no, but my point is that these are the best riders in the world. Whatever the regulations are, they have to adapt, right? So if they reduce the points of aero, even though that if you put on a bigger wing, you can go faster through the corner. But if it's at a certain level, you know, and that's kind of
still have that 300 horsepower, 320 horsepower, and even though they're the best, they're going to try to use all of it. That's just human nature, and that means there's going to be a lot of crashes.
I don't think it'll be any more than we already see.
Yeah,
I genuinely, I don't think so, because I think the first season, it'll be more crashes because it takes them time to get used to it. But once they're used to it, I think it's fine. For me, it's just like anything. Like I remember racing 125cc gearbox go-karts, and my first 5 races, I just couldn't get the grip to that my hand.
Wait
a second. But wait a second. That my hand and my foot needed to talk to each other, right? That I needed to come off the gas to pull the next gear.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it was the most fucking bumpiest fucking ride that I ever had, because I was pulling gears and then I was pulling fucking 2 gears, and it just gave me time. But what my point here is that if I went back to my direct drive days, in which I moved in from 125 or 100cc Formula A, right? Now they're killer engines. They rev to like 22,000 RPM next year, right? But going into a corner, all I was focused on in those was pressing the brake, turning the steering wheel, and pressing the accelerator.
Yeah.
Now, in a gearbox kart, I have to come down 5 gears, press the brakes, turn the corner, all at one stage. Do you know what I mean? And it just takes time to fly into it. And all of a sudden, you think you don't have grip, and you have grip. Do you know what I mean? And it just becomes natural.
Yeah. But there's a point where it becomes, it's just, you don't have the reflexes for it. There's a point where it just becomes too much power, too much speed. You're not going to catch up.
Yeah, but I don't see too much power and too much speed. Wait, let me finish.
I'm talking here.
How violent was the high sides in 500s? Because that was light switch power, right? That's light switch.
Right now they're going to do it twice as fast.
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything going to be as violent as a 500cc high side, personally.
Now they're going to do it because then they're going to have 300 horsepower instead of 180, and that thing's going to just poof, gone.
No, I don't know, because they're not like.
But listen,
what stops high sides is electronic.
It's the class for innovation and tech. So if they don't like the innovation and tech, they have a plethora of classes to watch. Moto 2, BSB. Go to them, watch them.
Did you see aerodynamics are coming into Moto 3 and Moto 2 this year?
Shouldn't be. I'm staunch on that. Should not be there.
So, and saying that, right? Rear ride height device does not stop high sides. Electronics stop high sides.
It helps, they say.
No, because rear ride height realistically only is only really used on a good straight. It's not used from fucking a small 100 meter straight. It's no time to lower and get back up, right? So
where ride height came from when they banned active suspension.
They never had active suspension.
What?
Never had active suspension.
Is it when they did 2017 the active suspension, they dropped it. They banned it.
No, I don't think they did. No. Don't think they ever had fully electronic suspension.
The best. And they dropped it.
No, Olands were trying to bring in active suspension, but it never actually. I don't think it ever was in the regulations.
No, I was told.
And right height, where right height started was when they started doing the whole shot devices, and then Ducati got an idea then to drop it coming out of corners. Now, all right height does is help launch out of the corner and get the drive, and because it removes the momentum shifting. It doesn't stop a high side.
They say it stabilizes during braking, and I can see that.
In braking?
Yeah.
Rear right height stable, but the right height doesn't go until you come out of the corner, Jake.
Yeah, that's what they've said. It stopped. I know what you're saying, but they're saying it stops
but the spring doesn't. But that's my point. The spring doesn't compress until you're outside of the corner, coming out of the corner, so it can't do anything.
Again, you come out of the corner, it releases when you're coming into the corner. The bike would squat, right?
No,
and then
it doesn't.
Stable braking.
No, you can't have the spring squat mid corner. You can't.
No. Coming into corner when braking. Coming into the corner.
Yeah, but you can't have that either.
That's
so if you have no spring as you turn in
the corner, I thought if it has no corner, right? I'm reading this though. I'm going, if it squats, then you go into the corner. Now you have no play. As soon as you hit a bump, the only thing you have left is the tires to go to.
Yeah, so it does and like you see it coming out of the corner as they're coming. They arm it coming into the corner. That's the only thing that they do. Like Ducati arm it going into the corner. Aprilia arm it in the middle of the corner for when it comes out. So basically, my understanding of how this works is that when they arm it whenever, once the throttle is pulled 100% or whatever percent they set it at. So 95, whatever, right? Once that throttle is put to that percentage, the rear will sit. That's why they need to arm it. Otherwise, they would self-arm. Do you know what I mean? And be against the regulation. So once they do it, and once they come out, so basically, as they pick the bike up coming out of the corner, they hit the percentage, and the rear of the bike then will sit because it's hit that on the way out. It cannot sit down on the way in or through the corner because the bike will not corner at all.
I was wondering that, though, man, that's an awful tricky, smooth. My God, it would have to be like almost instantaneous. You know what I'm saying? It would have to almost hit, stop it from jarring, get into the corner with, suspension travel, then drop again, coming out to get the drive.
Yeah. No, it doesn't go till after the corner.
Yeah.
That's 100%. You know what I mean? What do you think is going to happen this weekend?
One is Qatar. Qatar is an oddball track to begin with. It's not it's not one of Bagnaya's favorite tracks. I thought it was one of Martin's favorite tracks, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They both go okay there. Not spectacular. Excuse me. They both go okay there. Not spectacular, really, but yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Like Martin is going to go be out and trying to put manners on people. Pecco is going to go out. I don't know. I think Pecco's approach this year. I think he's under much less pressure than last year.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. A lot's expected of him this year. This is almost a given. People are thinking he's going to win this, and it's a given.
No, I think that was but you see, for me, he's legitimized now. Do you know what I mean? He's won the world championship twice. You know what I mean? The first one wasn't just pot luck, and that's it. You know, because like if you look at, and I don't mean that in disrespect, like, but look, you look at 2020 was Mir, wasn't it?
Yeah.
21 was Fabio. 22 was Pecco. 23 was Pecco again. Do you know what I mean? So he's done something that hasn't been done in a while. Do you know what I mean? And actually fucking defended his championship. You know, so I think he's legitimized now, and he's been able to answer the questions that is he that level, championship level. And look, people can say it's the bike and it's this, that, and the other. Probably look, he's the best Ducati rider last year, right? So there was other people with the same equipment, and he did beat them. So Martin, I still think he has a point to prove. That he definitely has a massive chip in his shoulder.
Yes, he does.
Maybe that's a good thing though, to spur him on. You know,
factory ride. That's the whole thing. We wants the factory ride as much, if not more, than the championship.
He reminds me so much of Cal Crutchlow. It is actually scary. You know, Cal wanted a factory ride. He got a fucking factory ride, and he didn't fucking want it then. Do you know what I mean? Now, okay, it was on a Ducati. And yes, I am fully aware, for those ones out there, for the anoraks out there, he was on a factory contract, but he was not on factory level equipment. He did not have the exact same equipment as the factory Repsol Honda team. Just FYI. Okay. No. Yes, he did. He was always 1 or 2 steps behind. They didn't really use him for testing, etc. As well documented that they were only listening to Mark during that time. I can't wait to actually see how Pedro Acosta gets on.
I'm very curious about that. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
But it seems like we haven't seen him up against anything yet. He hasn't had enough camera time where you can say, okay, he's going up against, you know, it's
well, look,
against Marchetti or you know,
but look, I'm going to look at this. The first rule of racing is beat your teammate.
Right.
He has 3 other teammates in the way I see it. Joe, he has Augusto, and he has the 2 factory KTM people. Is he going to struggle to beat Binder? Yeah. Is he going to be in and around with Jack Miller? I think so. But look, if he is second KTM home, I know he's gas, but he's KTM really. If he's second bike home out of those 3, you know, that'll be a really, really good result for him.
Christ, that would almost be like a win.
Well, yeah. Yamaha. I think they will qualify well. Or sorry, they won't qualify well. I think he'll have race pace. It's kind of funny. It's just it's kind of funny, and like this is where I'm really worried about Yamaha, right? Like 22, 23, and we're going into 24, and we have the exact same problems.
Yeah,
you know, they cannot get 1 lap pace out of that bike, and it's you know. So that's putting him back down to 12th or 13th on the grid, and then he's trying to pass people, wearing out his fucking tires, and you know, he's done. He's goosed before the fucking race happens. So it's kind of silly, I suppose. But it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Rins as well. Can Rins come back and stick it to Fabio? You know, Fabio did catch him towards the end, what I mean catch him is kind of put manners on him. Towards the end of testing, and he did kind of sprint out the gap. So, but look, again, I just thought it was I think it'd be interesting to see how Rins goes. I will also be interested to see what the fuck is up with Augusto Fernandez. It would be kind of the first time that I'll be able to see what he's done or doing.
That boy from day one.
He's in trouble this year. Whatever it is, he's at test rider pace rather than race rider pace. So It's thing. Franco Morbidelli is a big question as well for me. What is he going to do this thing? No testing, turn the leg over the bike, and away you fucking go. And will we be hearing that's the problem for years to come? I think so. If I'm very honest, and I don't really mean to be that cruel or mean, but I do believe, and I said this. I think either Bezzecchi or Gigi Antonio is the man that could take his seat next season. I don't see if VR46 moved to Yamaha, I can see Bezzecchi leaving and going to Pramac. If they stay with Ducati, I can see Bezzecchi staying there. And I can see Gigi leaving and going to Pramac for the 2025.
Has not been that strong this so far this year. I'm surprised.
He just doesn't seem to get on with the 23. Now, saying that, like, it's kind of funny, right? And
I thought most people were more into the 22 and the 24, but the 23 was like
that's the ugly sister,
yeah.
That's the ugly sister. So, but when you look at the VR46 riders, they all ride in the same manner. They all have kind of similar to Rossi's technique in riding. You look at, and it'd be interesting actually this season to look at like Franco on the Ducati, Pecco on the Ducati, and Bezzecchi on the Ducati. I can guarantee you, if they're all in the same frame, they're very, very similar lines. So, and the odd one out of that is Bezzecchi on the 23, which Pecco didn't really and truly get on with. So, if Pecco was struggling with it, then Bezzecchi would probably struggle too.
Yeah.
And remember, Bezzecchi doesn't have, and this is why. And I remember saying this when the talk about him going to Pramac was there. He doesn't have the experience that Pecco has.
How many
Pecco had
worse? Huh? Curiosity. We have Pecco in a 24. Right, there's 4 24s. Yeah. We have
Bastianini
on a 24. We have not Bezzecchi. We have Franco
and Franco.
Yeah. And Franco. So, and Martin's having a problem with a 24. You're telling me?
Yeah, Martin is struggling with chatter, especially on acceleration and braking.
Because I was curious, what happens if Pecco has a problem? Say Pecco goes out and he gets, jump start, it breaks his leg. Okay, who's the next on the firing?
I reckon Bastianini. I reckon he's on it this year.
You think so?
He looks like he's comfortable on the bike. Time wise, now this is what I'm seeing. He's comfortable. And like I did a video last week where in the podcast, last week's podcast, I went a bit nerdy and mad with Excel, and I got the average lap times of people, and I put them down into a heat chart of what it is. And some people were going like, it's just testing, and I was like, I know it's just testing, but it's just an indication of 2 or 3 days, X amount of laps. These are on average. If we were to do a race today, these would be their perspective pace laps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and
if they're
use, we don't have a crystal balls. They're
well, no, like we don't have any TV coverage. We can't see it, right? Yeah. So
we're not in the pits,
So it's like, and even if you were in the pits, you still can't see it because you could only see one fucking corner. Do you know what I mean? So the whole point about it was that you can kind of get a pecking order, literally pecking order of where things are and how people got on that test. Nothing to say that this is how the race is going to go. All this is saying is that on average, right, your test day 1, test day 2, anyone can do a fastest lap towards the end and steal the fucking headlines.
Right.
The whole point of it is that the other 60 laps that they did that day, no one is looking at, are they in around the same pace as each other? Yes. And that's all that was to show Actually, if you took, and there was some people in there had lap times of 10 minutes, I took those out. Do you know what I mean? So
okay.
it was just like if you didn't cross the line. So if you were in an early pit garage and you rolled in and you
Yeah.
stopped and you'd had a chat or whatever, and I think again, it would actually show you a lap time of 10 minutes. So I took those sort of things out and I looked at it then, and all it is an indication of, okay, in pace terms, the only thing that we know over the course of the day is that they were all doing X amount of laps and whatever, and this is their average pace on those laps. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Folks, Mac is a you hear me talk about MotoGP experts. Mac is as close as you're going to get on YouTube for a MotoGP expert. He's right up there with, he could be a Simon Crafar if he was down in the pits. Let's put it that way.
yeah, I'd probably get kicked out of most garages for telling the truth, though.
I say he's the tech. I'm the tech guy. I'm into tech more, but he knows his tech. All right. I'm just into tech more. He's into the riders. No one knows riders better than Mac. So
anyway, what's his name? So Acosta will be good. I'm interested to see how Brad Binder will do as well. And there's a lot of pressure on the KTM factory riders this season as well. KTM have kind of written a promise that this is their year, and if it doesn't fucking come out,
Brad's always holding up the flag. He's the sole holder of that flag again.
Yeah. Look, like he needs, in my view, a couple of consistent wins to unleash the inner alien is what I call it, bro. And where I talk about this is that I will always remember winning my first race, right, and thinking, wow, I'm so fucking lucky that I won that race, right? And then I won my first few races together, and my confidence and my attitude towards my racing changed. Do you know what I mean? Now the mindset changed. Not that I'm lucky to be battling at the front. It's like I was expecting myself to be in and knowing I can race with these guys, and all of a sudden, everything fucking changes. Your attitude, how you go racing, what you're doing in the race. Do you know what I mean? The shit that you will try, the level. It's just a different confidence level, and I think that's what helps the aliens, in my view, be aliens. Do you know what I mean? Because they fully understand their capabilities. Do you know what I mean? And I think that'll come for Binder, and I think it'll come for Acosta too. If he gets a podium, for example, Acosta this year, he'll be a different boy, like different fucking boy to what we see.
Yeah, he's real close, and he actually, you're wondering, he needs a couple wins, and I think he needs to show that he has that raw speed, natural raw speed in a consistent manner.
Yeah. No, I personally think Qatar was good for him, right? Because it kind of gave him, like, overall, I think when I did the pasting, I think he was like in 6th place or so. But I think like he didn't do a bad account for himself. The fact that he had, in my view, this Qatar was like a little race weekend simulation. Do you know what I mean? He only had 2 days. Do you know what I mean, or whatever, or he only had a short, or 3 days, or whatever it was. He only had a short amount of time to get up to speed, and that's what a race weekend is going to be like at a new track. Whereas at Sepang, he had a good few days to fuck around. Here, it was like get it done, get out. What else? I think Elish, it'll be telling for Elish and Maverick. I'm still freaked out a little bit about the whole Aprilia situation, with Raul. But yeah, I think I expect Elish to be the strongest one, even though Maverick on pace wasn't too bad. But ultimate lap time did seem to struggle. So I think it would be. I think it'd be interesting. I think.
I've never had faith in Raul from day one. You know that.
Remember,
I never had faith in Raul from day one.
Yeah, but he'd much
you know.
but he had much better pace than Oliveira in Qatar. Much better on the 23.
Yeah, I know he did.
And
That's all I did.
yeah, and I know a lot of some people came back to me and were making up excuses for Raul or for Oliveira, and look, quite frankly, you know, he's not just like all the Aprilia riders are testing stuff. It's not just him, right?
Yeah.
He struggled in Sepang and he struggled in Qatar. You know, I'm not at all saying that he's not a good rider. I think he's a very good rider and he's a very, very nice person. I've met him and he was a very nice person. So I'm not at all at anything saying anything bad about him. I'm just quoting the fact that I look at his pace and he doesn't have good pace.
Now, did they change that bike enough to foul him up? So he's not gelling with it?
So some people were saying that it's the making the jump of two years. Now, I would kind of disagree with that because he sampled the 23 a few times, right? So he kind of knew the direction. I would 100% agree if he jumped off a 22 and jumped onto a 24 is taking him some time to learn the new way to ride the bike rather than the evolution. But he's had a taste of the 23. He loved the 23. So the direction of that 24, as Alicia said, is better in most areas. So yeah, look, I think there's a lot of open questions there.
Maybe just, you know, hopefully maybe just he needs time to adapt.
Maybe it is, but you know, the rate the lights are going to go out on Saturday and time's up. You know, you need to form, and like all of a sudden, if Raul is beating him consistently on the 23, is Raul going to get the bike? The 24. But look, let's wait and see. But it is that time of the show, Jake.
Yes.
Your sprint race winner.
Whoa. We missed a major thing.
Did we miss a major thing?
Yes, we did. How the hell could we miss that?
Which oh Jesus! Oh, you fucking Marquez t-shirt now.
Yeah. What about him? What about Mr. Marquez on the Qatar?
On the guitar, I think that's where he should fucking stay. Is on the guitar.
Car, whatever the hell.
Okay, yeah. Are you going to choose Marky Mark for the win?
I couldn't because I should because I touted it before when he was signing, and I should stick by my guns. But I did pick Pecco already. Now you wrote it down for me as Pecco.
Yeah.
If you like, I'll go. How about if I go him third? I'll put him on a podium.
All right. Okay.
Everyone should have a Marquez pick. What do you pick? Where do you pick him?
Fifth.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Like
this time, yeah.
I think Mark will do quite well. But I think Mark is.
I can see him crashing too.
I can see that too. I can see him slipping back into the Honda way of riding too much during a race, and I can see him doing really well and then going backwards. That's what I can see. And as I said, for me, it's going to take Mark 5 or 6 race weekends, in my view, to get up to speed. A lot of people are out there saying, "Oh, it's going to be instant." I don't think so. I think he's struggling. Not with the bike, it's more so with the head, and it's to ride the bike how it needs to be ridden, not like a Honda. And he's kind of come out and said that in certain ways. But Pecco said it to him. You do realize that he's like, you're still riding it like a Honda.
Yeah. Hey, trained reflexes are almost impossible to change. In boxing, you'll hear you've heard it 1,000 times. Oh, I'm going to change my style, right? Instead of going from a boxer, he's going to be instead of being a puncher, he's going to be a boxer. All of a sudden, he's going to be slick, and all of a sudden, times get tough in that ring, and he starts getting hit, and he starts getting tired. And what does he do? We all
He goes
do.
back into his own,
Right.
his own survival mode. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. That's the saying, punched in the face, right?
Yeah.
So I think as soon as he's punched in the face, which is kind of lap 5 or 6, so the tire starts to wear. Yeah, I think, and that's not being disrespectful to him. I think he just needs a bit of time to adapt.
And a lot is just going to depend on his engineer doing a setup deal.
Well, his engineer is good. He has Digi's engineer from last year.
Yeah.
Frankie something. So he's a good engineer.
Well, what I'm saying is he's going to have to be good at reading the change. Like, okay, how do I make this kid?
Yeah, but you have a fella now that has a few years on a Ducati.
How do I make this bike work for him when he's trying to ride it like a Honda? If you get me what I'm saying?
Yeah. You see where, and I suppose this is the other part where Mark needs to go into a learning. Mark is going to a satellite team where it's not throw this part, and this part. The bike is going to be the bike.
Yeah.
He just needs to learn how to ride it. So it's not really that they have to change the bike an awful lot. Like they're going to say, this is the optimum setup of the bike. And the reason this is the optimum setup of the bike is because we fucking know. Right? and we don't have new parts.
Yeah. Remember we said that could be a help for Marquez going into a satellite team. One of the upsides of going to a satellite team.
I think it's just the riding style change is what he needs.
What do you think much, buddy? This is the you put your close your eyes before you bleed to death. How was your last night?
Last night?
You dying on me over there?
Yeah. Still a little bit seedy. Friday night, wild Friday night beers. I think he can. Yeah, it's just riding style. In my view, is all he needs to work on, and as I said, he'll get a podium, and the confidence will come in it then. And I think then he's going to be away for stay. So he's going to be dangerous. Is he going to challenge the two boys? I don't know. Their pace is fast.
Really hope. I mean, I'm a Marquez fan for his ability. I really hope he does not start the towing bullshit. All right?
Oh, he will. He will.
That should be banned. If something banned towing, and and hope he doesn't turn into these. I hope he doesn't bash what they call bash pass when there's 2 foot of bike and there's 1 foot of one
space.
Foot.
Bam Bam, yeah, Bam Bam Martin. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, look, it'll be what it'll be. I suppose, but I think he's I think he just needs a bit of time. I also opened up this week the MotoGP Mac Fantasy League. So if people want to join it, so I think we have a good few people in it. So you have to set your budget, pick your team, and away you go. Some people will live and breathe it. Some people like me will not really live and breathe it. I won't change my team for the season.
As it goes, yeah.
I do the fantasy football with my young fella. Now I have fuck all. I don't know these players at all, really. I know a few. And the Premier League started, I want to say, in August. I've changed my team once.
Yeah.
And that was my niece actually said it for me. And my niece actually did the change for me. And she did the change because someone was injured. And it was only just by chance that she was here. And she said, "Oh, did you know such was injured?" And I was like, "Oh, no." She's like, "Yeah, he's in your team." I was like, "Oh, right." So, so Fantasy League is there. So definitely sign up for it. I'm really excited about next weekend, even though I will be late getting the videos out of the results as I'm away at a football match in the United Kingdom. Probably get arrested.
And folks, can somebody do me a favor out there? A lot of you, go over and see if you see a nutball post from these sites. Will you please report them? It's getting to the point of being like a virus. It's ridiculous. Gigi hates, Gigi hates Marquez and blah blah blah, and he's leaving now, and he's sad now. He's depressed because he doesn't want to. He wants to go back to Honda. All this bullshit, and it's absolute bullshit. And you just go on there, and everyone's shocked. Mark Marquez has 3 nuts. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't see.
I'm like, will you please? What do you have to do to have somebody get, report, when you report somebody that the guy gets away with it every day? He lies every day. It's blatant. So,
well, look, I just
it's
say
bad.
I don't want to see these videos.
There's still people pulling that bullshit.
Yeah, look, I get it. Look, there is 1 or 2 channels out there I've seen.
There are a couple good ones out there, but I mean,
yeah.
There's
and
this
give him.
He literally has like about a dozen sites. You can always see it. It always starts out with somebody shocked, or you know what I mean.
Yeah. Look, is what it is, And if you want to watch it, but just pinch of salt.
Just report, you know what I mean? Do everybody a favor. Second.
That's it. And on that bombshell, we will end today's show. And
in history, the longest year.
I know, man. I know. But look, it will be good. There's something good coming towards the end of it. Saturday, Sunday, race day. Friday, practice.
We need the Ducati fund for Mac. We're getting him into the new decade.
I love my 0.8 or 6.
I know. I great bike. You adore it. Like I say, I love my my MVF4RR work bike. There's got to be a love for a work bike. But Christ, you got 40,000 miles on that puppy.
I have 0 miles on it. Well, sorry, I don't. I have about 1,000. She's full engine rebuild.
It has 1,000. I thought it. Oh! I thought that happened. I thought you rebuilt it right from Jump Street.
No. I rebuilt it. She has 40,000. The engine and the bike has survived 40,000 miles, but I rebuild the engine every 10,000 miles.
No, still, but it's getting up.
Have to. She has 143 brake horsepower.
Yeah,
at the rear wheel from a 600.
Yeah,
that's World Super Sport spec.
I told you my cousin, the aerodynamic engineer cousin, has retired. Has a MVF4RR that has 157. It's 800, but that's 157 horsepower. My God, if you're on that bike, and I'm like I'm fucking a football, but it's so small. But if you look left, you're right. You're going left. If you look right, you're going right. It's
nimble
and fast as hell. I mean, for an 800, it's rock and rolls.
Yeah.
So your R6 is the same way. It's right in that league.
And she likes to wheelie.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's my toy. That's what I. Anyway, on that bombshell, we will see after the race on Monday and talking about all the Qatar action and fun.